conceal the eyebrows. I'm using a glue stick, but because I have to apply the makeup hygienically, and also because I want to warm up the glue, I'm actually using the palette, and I'm going to push the eyebrows really flat, and then when they're really flat, I'm going to apply the glue. And basically here what I want to do is exactly what I'm doing here, working little section by little section and having a first layer with my eyebrow completely flat onto the skin. And I'm moving on. I'm basically working like centimeter per centimeters to make sure all the eyebrows are perfectly flat, exactly what I'm doing here. And you can even give an extra push just using the tip of your wand, rolling up, and you push the eyebrow like this. We move to the next section. Pushing well the eyebrows. You can go a little bit reverse from the growth. And I'm really giving a good pressure here. And up, flatten more the eyebrows using the tip of my wand. And to the skin, you can see I'm just rolling. So it also helps to smooth a bit the edges. I'm really putting them up to make sure they're completely flat. Pushing, 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 then applying the glue with my spatula and pushing onto the eyebrows again. You can use some blue glue stick because it will give you an indication on how it's going to dry. But here I just use any glue stick which I can find, you know, in a Coles, Office Work, or any stores basically which sells, yeah, glue for kids or school. Just making sure the eyebrows are perfectly flat, and if you need some extra, keep brushing up. And here I'm going to flatten with my mascara band. Pushing as much as you can. Perfect. Here I can see I need a little bit more. The first layer is the most important because that's the one which is really going to push all your eyebrows together in the right direction so you don't have any volume basically on the eyebrows. I'm moving to a second eyes now. And I'm working again little section by little section. I first push a little bit and I brush up here. I really want my eyebrows to be completely flat onto the skin. You also need to be careful with the edges. That's why it's great to use just the mascara to flatten a bit the edges. Here you can see I have a bit of glue, so I'm probably going to use just a little bit of micellar water and a cotton tips to smooth a bit the product. Again, pushing out. Ooh, that's one long hair here.
Is it?
Yeah, that's sometimes happen. Yeah, pushing very well. I will ask Frank after to turn his head on the side and you will see that there is no volume at all. It's like if I would like to pretty much uncurl his eyebrows. It's a bit like a brow lamination basically because you have your eyebrows very flat and all in the same direction. Here we go. And rolling, pushing with my mascara on the eyebrows onto the skin. Here you have two which cross a bit. I'm trying to correct it, but when you apply the product, we don't have much space then to correct. Perfect. I can see here I need a bit more glue on this one. So you have also spirit gum, which can be good to use, but when you do spirit gum, you need due talent to have spirit gum remover. This is why I prefer using glue stick, because it's super easy to remove. It's not irritating. You won't have reaction to a glue stick. So that's usually what we use for makeup, the drag makeup. So I'm just going to use a little cotton tips and a little bit of micellar water to smooth the edges, and I will need to wait for this first layer to dry. So while it's drying, I'm going to start hiding a bit, concealing a bit the beard. You can see here I have the blue beard, which is not very feminine, so I need to use color correction to remove this shade, and I'm going to use an orange. So in here, I'm applying quite generously an orange shade all over the beard when I have a bit of color. I think because we're going for something quite creative, I'm not going too low, because you will see I'm going to create a shape here using some black. I'm going to create to him a black neck. Okay, turn a bit towards me, the moustache. Great. And you see I'm quite generous, because as we know, dry makeup is going to be quite thick, so I can be quite generous with the product I apply, and we really want to fully conceal the beard area. And now using a clean brush, just have one brush running it up. Just using a clean brush, I'm blending a bit the product. And it's fine to still see a bit of orange, because you will have the foundation apply at the top, which is going to perfectly remove. You can see here the eyebrows I need to push. Make sure it's going to stay and hold very well. Turn a bit towards me. And I would just need you to, perfect. Just move a bit your lips for me. This is great. So make sure you go very well with your orange between the hairs. So I'm like doing some small motion and getting a little bit more into those little hairs. Great. If you have a hairdryer, you can use a hairdryer to fasten a bit the eyebrows. I'm going to use this time to prep all my color I'm going to use on the palette. So the second layer I'm going to do with the glue. I'm actually going to do something quite thick. So this one is going to take a bit longer to dry, and I'm not going to use the mascara. Basically, I'm using the glue now, like a bit of a paste, to flatten and to don't have, you know, those little gaps we can have between the hairs. And this is where the makeup is going to stuck. So this is why I'm just using something quite thick. And I'm just applying it all over the eyebrows. There is many techniques to conceal the eyebrows with glue, but I found this one was working pretty well for me, to work actually with a few different layers. It's just taking a bit of time. So while that is going to happen, I'm probably going to start moving on to the neck. And I've decided, as I say, to do a bit the neck in a darker shade to create a bit of shape. You want to make sure all your edges are perfectly fine, and it's very important that you don't use a brush at this stage, only the glue and your spatula. and you make it quite thick. If I have quite a lot of time in front of me, I can go to do up to 3 to 4 layers. But here, I know my makeup is going to be thick and creative. This is why it don't really matter to just do as a second one, thick layer, and just wait for it to dry. Up, great. I'm going to add a bit more glue. So you see, it's a simple glue stick like this one I'm using. And I have quite a lot. And I warm up on my palette to create like a cream, basically, like a paste. Try to avoid to have some on your hands, because after it just make your hands all sticky. And it's very hard to remove. We just make everything sticky and it's not great. Okay, we use this one. When you apply, think about applying in the direction of the growth of the hair, so you really filling the gap between the eyebrows. Great. And keep going. So here I'm trying to really blend my edges onto the skin. I can always come back, that's what I'm going to do with a bit of cotton tips and micellar water. But what I really want to do is create like a smooth base to really have no gaps and have all the hair stuck together, like a second skin basically. There is other technique which you can use, as I said, sprayed gum. There is also Prose Ed, which is a great product which you can use. But same again, like this is not always something easy to source. You need to have it on your kit. You need to have the makeup remover for it. This is why I prefer using glue stick, because I can have it very easily from any supplier. Yay. Perfect. So here I'm using a bit of micellar water, and I'm just going to blend the edges with a cotton tips and micellar water. I'm really going to flatten, you can see, really blend my edges and make sure there is no little beds of product as much as I can, especially underneath the eyes, looking at the roots of the hair. That's very well you can have a bit of volume. So here we're not going for something which is going to be short, very close anyway, but as much as I can do a clean job, this is going to help me after. That long hair still here.
Oh.
If you see one like that, just
remove it
before you do the makeup. That's going to help you. It's funny, it's very often on this side of the face that we have one very long hair.
I used to keep them for Santa Claus.
Perfect. Okay, while it's drying, I'm going to do the neck. So here what I want to do is I'm going to create like a shape, basically, coming straight face, straight, thank you. I'm going to create a shape which is going to come from the middle of the chin and just going roundly a bit to the nose. So here I'm using cream, and I'm just creating one straight line like this. It's going to be a bit harder for me then to go with my foundation closer to it, but we try to optimize time here, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. And now generously apply the black. And this is like cutting a bit the face, which is going to enhance a bit the feminine feature. And I like to do that sometimes as well in photo shoot, just have a black neck and cutting a bit the jaw, especially if my model like pose chin down. It's quite funny, interesting, the shape it gives to the face. And now I'm just applying the black cream, which we are then going to set with loose powder and enhance with a pigment, a green pigment to give a bit of reflect, because we're going to do something, as I say, a bit more creative here. I always apply makeup on this direction because of the hair growth. A little touch. Great. Perfect. I could use water base, but I try to, so if there is a performance after, I will really not recommend to use any water-based product because my performer can sweat and any product which is water-based is not going to last. So here I'm using cream, and if I want to really enhance the long-lasting effect, there is some professional brands now who are doing some mixing medium which are silicone-based, and I can add it to my product, and this helps a bit to have a longer lasting effect. Awesome. I'm looking at the glue. It's not ready to be dry yet, so we might need to do a little dance or something until it's done. We're going to put some music. All right. I'm just blending here, but depending on the costume of your performer, you can definitely change a bit. You can even create some shape. The idea is here to just have a portrait anyway. Can you look a bit towards me? There's a trick when you do demonstration to have balance, because you're never really in front of your model. When I do makeup on my model only and not being filmed, I always make sure I can see the face straight, so I can see everything, like I can have all the angles straight perfectly in front of me.